Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. There's something about the fall here in New England. This happens to me every year. This time of year, I have a harder time getting up at this time of the morning. I have more of an urge to sleep in when I wake up here. I still wake up even though I'm on hiatus from my other YouTube channel for a week, hopefully till next Sunday. I have a harder time getting up as it starts to get colder this time of year. I have a harder time getting up. It just went through my head as I said 3:30. It really is freaking early, man, for me. I don't know, this time when it starts to get cooler, the hibernation time here in New England, it's harder for me to wake up at this time of the morning. Anyway, I have another story for you guys about Lauren Boebert. She landed in Washington, D.C., and TMZ was there to meet her. And she just spews more dishonesty. I have to talk about this. The link will be down below from TMZ, the story and the video. And also, at the end, when I'm through with that, I'm going to tell you guys the updated news, which there isn't much on my main channel, what I call my main channel. I call that one my main channel, Artist and Recovery. And this one I call my secondary channel, Staying Clean. Okay, here we go. So she landed in Washington, Lauren Boebert landed in Washington, D.C., I guess to get back to the people's business. And they were there to greet her. You know what? I noticed she's a lot more friendly than she usually is to the media, the lamestream media as they call it. I gotta stop doing that. I hate when I see myself do that. She was a lot more friendly. I think she's been taken down a peg or two after getting caught being all handsy with her date, especially that her date, Quinn Gallagher, is a tried and true Democrat, a Democrat bar owner who I've actually seen some videos from his bar, which I think is great. He has drag night at his LGBTQ friendly bar in Rifle, Colorado, I think it is. And I think that's great. But she's being dishonest in this video. And the goofy thing is, one of the first things she says is, well, she says, I owned up to it. I told the truth. And she's actually lying yet again in this video. And it made me start to think about, I've been letting this guy off easy. I've been sitting here making these videos about Lauren Boebert, but what about this dude? What is he doing dating? He's a Democrat. What is he doing dating this? I mean, she's just not a Republican. She's just not a MAGA Republican. She's like one of the big mouth, dishonest, hypocritical, lying MAGA Republicans of all time. And is he that hard up that he has no scruples, that he would date this woman just for a little hand action? I'll get to that in a second. Let me tell you, okay, so TMZ greets her at the Washington, I think it's probably at Dulles Airport. Is that what it's called? Dulles in Washington, D.C.? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So TMZ comes up and interviews her. And I'll give you a rundown. Like I said, the video's right down below so you can watch it yourselves. She says, it was her private time and she thinks her constituents understand that she needs time for herself. And she said she's owned up to it, which is complete bull. She hasn't, from what I've seen, she hasn't said anything about all this. What I've seen now is that this show Beetlejuice, it was a family show. It was advertised for children and kids and families. What she was doing in this theater, man, I've done a lot of messed up things throughout my I was using and drinking for 25 years, 2.5 decades. And I can't remember ever doing anything even close to this in public. I remember elevators, cars, I don't know, private places, semi-public, I guess. But even as all the messed up things I've talked about doing on here, I have never done, and I don't think I could do anything like this. Even if my date started getting handsy with me, I don't think I could go along with it, especially not at my age now. Anyway, she says she had a lovely time, and this is what she says. She says she learned to check party affiliations, right? So what she's saying here is that she didn't know he was a Democrat, okay? And she makes it sound in this interview. She says it was just like one date. And she didn't know he's a Democrat. So she's lying out her backside again. Uh, he asks her, the TMZ guy asks her if what the public thinks about this, and you could tell, man, you could tell that she's even having a hard time lying about that. She says a lot of folks understand. She says, what is it with politicians? They call people folks. The folks here, the folks there. I never use that word folks. I don't call people, even though I'm almost 60 years old, I don't call people folks. It sounds like an old-fashioned term. Okay, so she says, then she goes on to say, all kidding aside, he's a wonderful man, and they decided to part ways. So he's a great man, great friend, great father, blah, blah, blah. And they decided to part ways, and that's that. And she's going to focus on her job. What a bunch of crap. So I started thinking about this. Oh, here's another thing. I'll have a link down below. I thought I've done a few stories on this. And I knew that I saw another article. I thought it was from the Daily Mail, and it was. The link will be down below. The Daily Mail, when this first came out, the Daily Mail says, now we can tell you that, like they knew about this for a while. They said, now we can tell you that she's been dating Quinn Gallagher, 46-year-old Quinn Gallagher, for several months now. Okay, so that's what the Daily Mail said like 5 days ago. The link will be right down below. And, and she, in this video, I'm not surprised. She's lying once again. She makes it sound like it was one date, and she didn't know he was a Democrat. Let's think about that for a second. Like, what did they talk about? If she's actually claiming that she didn't know, because I think that's what she's doing. She's going around telling people that she didn't know he was a Democrat. It was one date, and she didn't know he was a Democrat. What do you talk about? What? She was a bar owner. He was a bar owner. This stuff, so their competition, they must see, the two bars are in towns right next to each other. They must know their competition. She must know that bar has LGBTQ nights, because she's so against that. She must have seen that. The town of Rifle, Colorado, how many people can be in that town? A couple thousand? She must be cognizant of that bar. She must know that he's a bar owner. What did they talk about? Is she saying that they didn't talk about any of this, any of their thoughts, their ideas, their hopes, their dreams, none of that? They just looked at each other's bodies and got all hot and said, hey, let's go on a date. Let's go to Beatles. Let's go to, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Let's go on a date. Let's go get some, are you serious? So she claims that she didn't check his party affiliation, which I think it sounds even worse. If you didn't even get into what kind of person this other person you're going on a date and you're getting all handsy with, that sounds even worse. That you didn't know who he was. Then I started thinking about this though. What about him? There's no freaking way he had to know who she was. And in all the articles I've seen, he is a hardcore Democrat. What I consider, since 2015, I was an independent voter. Back when I was younger, I voted Republican. I voted for Ronald Reagan. I told you guys that several times. Back when I was a stupid kid of 22 years old, I think was the first time I voted. And I was independent up till Trump showed up on the scene. Then that pushed me over to Democrat. Okay, so this guy had to know who she was, and not just who. She wasn't just any Republican. She's one of these Republicans, these MAGA Republicans, that's going around insisting that Donald Trump won. Oh, by the way, that's another video that I want to do, because in an interview, I can't remember if it wasn't on 60 Minutes. An interview, Donald Trump actually admitted that he needed a couple thousand votes in each state to win. He actually said that. For the first time, Donald Trump admitted that he lost. Finally, he said, I needed a couple thousand votes. And then he caught himself. And he starts backpedaling and he starts talking about the Hunter Biden computer. But that's neither here nor there. But he knew he lost. And this is why I made it on I have a Plenty of Fish dating profile. I might even put the link down below. I don't know if I could do that. I might use it on the thumbnail. And I say right in my Plenty of Fish dating profile, Trump, no Trump supporters. I actually say it's a deal breaker. Since, last time I dated Audrey, I told you guys that, my girlfriend who passed away 2 years ago from COVID, because she was a MAGA Republican and because she believed all that rhetoric about, freedom and not wearing masks and the whole vaccination thing. She never got vaccinated, and it literally ended up being the end of her life. And I made my mind up that I will never, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't need companionship. I don't need intimacy that bad where I'm willing to date somebody who actually believes that Donald Trump won, who actually believes in this rhetoric about the LGBTQ community and people of color and all this other stuff, and immigrants and people from Ukraine. I refuse. I will not date a Republican, a MAGA Republican. It's an absolute deal breaker. So I started thinking about this guy. He's willing to just, he's willing to overlook all that, especially who this woman is. She's one of the biggest loudmouths for Donald Trump, and he's willing to overlook all that just because she's got a shape. In this video, she looks so short. She looks tiny. I notice when women are really short, or guys were really short, like 5'1", 5'2", their heads look bigger, in relation to their body. And she can't be much more than 5'1" or 5'2", I think. She's a small person. And her teeth, I got to give this to her. Her teeth are incredibly white in these pictures. I'll give credit where credit's due. Okay. So back to Quinn Gallagher, so I haven't been beating up on this guy. I've been blaming Lauren Boebert, but what about him? Where's his scruples? Why is he dating this woman? He knows is the root of all evil, or she supports the root of all evil, Donald Trump. And I noticed another thing, and I'm going to use this on my thumbnail. He's carrying her purse. I'm surprised I didn't notice this in the video where they're getting thrown out of the theater. And they're walking out through the lobby, and he's even still carrying it when they're walking down the street. In the video, he spins her around, and they dance, and they do their little fun time. They gotta be high. They gotta be buzzed. He's still carrying her purse down the street. I started thinking it has to be. It can't be a man purse or a man clutch or whatever you call it. A mobile fanny pack or whatever, because women always have something to put their stuff in, even if it's a little clutch thing or whatever, and she doesn't have one. So he's carrying now. At this point, I've lost all respect for this guy. I've talked about this. I open doors for women since I got clean and sober. I don't know why this is, but I started doing this for my family, my mom, my sister, for all women. Opening car doors, opening all doors for women, and I feel better about. I feel good when I do it, and you can tell people appreciate it. And it just I like the way it makes me feel when I open up doors for women, car doors and stuff like that. But I draw the line. If I went on a date and a woman asked me to carry her purse, because she'd have to ask me to carry it. I'd say, hey, there's your purse. I'd pick it up and give it to her, but I wouldn't carry it, while she's getting all mouthy and flipping off the theater manager, like her little bee. That's what he looks like in this. I consider myself an enlightened guy. I'd even call myself a feminist, but I draw the line. I would not carry a purse. I just won't do that. It's just not me. Yeah, he carries the purse all the way down the street. He's still carrying it. And so it's either his very dainty looking bejeweled purse or he's carrying her purse. Okay, now, so that's it for the Lauren Boebert story. To my other channel, I checked this morning. Now, this happened Saturday. I got suspended for 1 week for supposedly showing sexual conduct or nudity. So they had to be talking about the picture on the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. The hand on the, on her and her hands in his, I'm pretty sure that's what I got suspended for 1 week. And I have a couple, I appealed it. Sunday I appealed it on the 17th. Haven't heard anything back. I check constantly. I check all day. I check my email and everything, and they still no word back. And this is something that's bothering me this morning. They have a countdown. I remember the last time this happened to me. They say, this is in effect till you have 5 more days, you have 7 more days, you have 6 more days, you have 5 more days till you can download and all this stuff. And it's stuck at 6 days. I checked it this morning, and it still says 6 days. I should be down to 4 or 5 days. It should be till this Saturday, and today's Tuesday. 3 days have gone by, and they're only saying 6 days still. They've been on 6 days on this for 2 or 3 days now, and I'm starting to wonder if, I'm trying to remember if the appeal, did I have to wait to hear back from the appeal? I mean, did they stop? Did they put the suspension on hold? And if they did, that's not fair that I am on indefinite suspension until they decide to answer my appeal. I don't think that's the case. I think they've made several mistakes, and the video is still up. Supposedly they have these guidelines to protect the public from obscene material, and they're still showing the video. I watched it this morning, and it's still up there. It's still earning me money. It's still getting views. It's still getting comments. So I gotta, even though I shouldn't talk about this, I shouldn't point it out, but it's still up there. So there's several mistakes going on at YouTube. It is what it is. I'll be here until I can come out of timeout like a good boy and serve my time. So I'm going to work on this channel till then. Anyway, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a great Tuesday.